Cheese is a core part of every game that exists. StarCraft has cannon rushes. Counter-Strike has the ninja defuse. And League of Legends? Well, League of Legends has had some pretty amazing cheese strategies throughout its lifespan. But every time a good one pops up, it usually just gets nerfed out of existence. Back in the day, Sunfire Cape used to be stackable, and Evelynn had a true invisibility, so the best cheese of the time would just to be stand next to people while invisible with 6 Sunfire Capes, and watch them simply burn to death without knowing why they were taking damage. But then Riot removed it. We also had the 1% crit rune, where people would always just take 1 red rune to get 1% crit at level 1. And with that, you could sometimes get lucky and just randomly crit your opponent in the middle of an early fight. A little later on, people figured out that you could also stack Doran's Blades, thus emerged the strategy of the Doran's Blade stacking Rengar top lane, who would outright stat check you with the pure combat power in lane of 6 Doran's Blades. But then, Riot removed that one as well. So many of League's greatest cheeses have been patched out of the game throughout the years. For better or for worse, you can be the judge of that. The only question that really remains that I want to answer is what cheese strategies still exist that you can do in the game today. We'll go through all of the modern day cheese strats that you can go and do right now. Some will be fun and just pure silly, some potentially viable that will get you free wins, but all of them will be certified cheese.
My name's Rogue and I played League of Legends professionally for 7 years. Now I'm a full-time content creator and coach for all ranks Iron through to Challenger. So if you want more information of what a coaching session with me will look like, you can find more information by following the link in the video description below.
And while you're in the description, you'll also find the link to my Patreon where I post all of the recordings of my best coaching sessions in full, with almost 1,000 hours of content currently available, all sorted by role and rank, including sessions where I coach for professional level teams. You can get a glimpse of what pro level League looks like from the inside. That's why whatever you're looking for, you'll easily be able to find something that's going to help you improve, no matter your rank lane. Don't you hate it when you hear that the enemy Darius killed your top laner at level 1, as always? Well, that's our next cheese strategy, and it's not just Darius exclusive. The strategy is just to simply make your champion as strong as possible for a level 1 fight, and then just use this against an opponent who hasn't thought to factor in any of this. Start by taking Lethal Tempo or Conquer as your runes, as they're the strongest runes in extended fights. Make sure to grab Bone Plating as well for the 90 damage reduction at level 1, and pick up a Flat Health Shard for the extra 65 flat health on top. Combine all of this with a champion that can stack your keystone quickly, like Garen who instantly stacks Conqueror with his spin, or Darius and Trundle with their auto attack resets, and for good measure, let's throw an Ignite on top as well. Now you are a level 1 raid boss. When you encounter an opponent without a stacking keystone, without Bone Plating, without the Flat Health Shard, without Ignite, and without any idea that these things matter, well, they're going to be in for a world of pain when they get murdered inside of their own minion wave because they are that much weaker than you. But why should we stop there? Why should only the enemy top laner be the one to suffer? Their jungler deserves some pain as well, right? Simply wait in the river until 1 minute 20 or so. Then take a stroll right into the enemy's jungle and just start smacking their jungler over the head while they're trying to do their first buff. The best part about all of this? Jungler's starting items don't give them any combat power. So now you're advantaged in yet another way, because you have the Dorans and they have nothing. This makes it so that you will win literally every single 1v1 versus every single jungler in the entire game when you have an early game focus setup just like this one. You've probably heard of proxy farming, right? Well, have you heard of the 2-man level 1 double Nexus proxy? Yeah, we're taking memes to the next level now. This cheese strat was made popular about 2 years ago when this clip of a Nilah and a Lee Sin farming at the Nexus went viral. This works because Nilah's passive increases the amount of XP her and another teammate gain from minion kills, meaning by the time the enemy realize that you're in their base and then run over to try and stop you, you're already going to be level 2, so they can't really fight you even if you are literally inside their base. Not to mention the fact that by coming here to try and stop you, they'd be losing creeps to their tower in the background since you've killed off the enemy waves. But they also can't leave you there forever to proxy, as you'll get insanely overleveled because of the Nilah passive working on 2 lanes worth of minions. It just gives you such absurd levels of XP. How much XP do you ask? Well, in this clip, the Lee Sin hit level 6 at 3 minutes and 35 seconds. For reference, in a solo lane, you can get level 6 just after 5 minutes, but more commonly this usually happens at about 5 minutes 30. But in a duo lane, where the XP is shared between you and your lane partner, the fastest that you can possibly get level 6 while sharing XP is on the wave that arrives at 8 minutes. With the Nyla double Nexus proxy, you can get level 6 in 2 minutes worth of farming minions, opposed to 6.5 minutes worth of farming minions you'd normally need in a duo lane when playing a standard bot lane. Do you want to know the best part about this absurd strategy though? Is that a pro team actually did this in an official match, and it was glorious. In the Vietnamese Pro League, Team VKE started the game by invading the enemy's topside jungle to help their Nyla Lee Sin get in position for the Nexus proxy. This tipped off their opponents though, who responded with 5 members. One of their teammates got caught and died, but all the while, the Nyla and Lee Sin got into position and started getting to work killing out waves in the enemy base, and they did. They managed to clear out the first wave, getting level 2. But that doesn't really matter if the enemy sends 4 people after you. This cheese failed spectacularly. My favorite part about all of this is just knowing that they would have genuinely tried and had success with this strat in their scrims leading up to this match. Pro teams do not try things like this unless it worked for them in practice, which means it did. This is the definition of a cheese strat. Sometimes it works, sometimes you start the game 0-3. Many of the best cheese strats over the years have involved item stacking, something that Riot has mostly removed from the game now that most item passives are unique. Whilst most items carry unique passives or restrict you to only buying one at a time, some of the item components with passives that you think are unique can actually still be stacked. The one with the most potential that I found is likely Haunting Guise. Haunting Guise passive increases the damage you deal by up to 6% with continued fighting. You can see here after I buy a Haunting Guise, my auto attack damage goes up as this continues to stack the passive. But watch what happens when I buy another 5. My auto attack damage skyrockets, because the 6% damage increase that I gain from the Haunting Guise works on every single Haunting Guise that I just bought. This for sure has some huge potential on champions with damage over time effects like Zyra, Lilia, and Brand, especially if you build a Liandry's and a Blackfire Torch to go alongside them. The stacking 6% damage increase also increases the damage over time effect of these two items, meaning that when you hit just one spell on an enemy, the damage over time effects of these items will keep your multiple Haunting Guises fully stacked with that 6%, which in turn continues to buff the damage over time effect of these items in their burn. Liandry specifically does 2% of an enemy's max health each second with its burn, and this burn doesn't have an ability power scaling because otherwise it would just one-shot any health stacking tank, but the percentage damage increase of Haunting Guise actually does increase the damage that Liandry's passive does, making it an actually viable tank killing strategy to have an inventory that looks like this. The other items I found that may be worth stacking are Forbidden Idol. You can stack 5 of them and then round out your build with a Dawn Core for massive heals and shields. And this build has the bonus that you can upgrade those Forbidden Idols into real items once you have the money to do so at the end. A couple of early Phoenix Cone decks can be stacked to give you an early game boost to your AP and your ability haste. And strangely enough, Recurve Bow, with the on-hit bonus damage also being stackable, although this one is just definitely worse than building normal items. Enough of the items, let me show you the easiest way to get a kill before the minions even spawn. Now as soon as the game starts, run directly out of base at the bottom side of river. Most people stand at the tri-bush when they're fanning against an invade, so what you can do is hug this wall as you walk up the ramp. The enemy inside the bush won't see you until it's far too late because the wall that you're running against blocks their vision. I have done this invade every single game that I have played Pyke for the last 5 years, and it works almost every single time. Oh shit. Well anyway, now quickly I want to give you a chance to go subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I'm putting out a video a week so you can expect tons more good stuff like this to come if you enjoyed this video, so don't miss out on those future ones. Well, now that I'm done begging for subs, let's watch some Tyler 1. In this matchup, he's up against Kalista and oh shit. Welcome to our next cheese, the Sion in the Lane Bush Classic. This can be done with a couple of top laners, but obviously Sion is the best for obvious reasons. Just hide in the Lane Bush level 1, kill the enemy bot lane, and then TP back to top when the work is done so you don't lose that many minions. The only risk is that you lose your TP and maybe a couple minions, which really isn't so bad given the potential reward here. Now, full credit goes to YouTube lol Dobby for this next part. This guy has leveled up the Sion cheese to an unimaginable level. It is hilarious. Here he catches the enemy Jhin walking out of base and kills him on the way back to lane, but he doesn't stop there. He then sneaks into the lane bush between the two towers, doubling down and killing the Jhin a second time between the two towers. Then this psycho goes so far as to literally walk in the tower to execute so that he can use his passive to chunk out the Jhin. This poor Jhin now has to start his lane 0-2 after missing 2 waves with only half HP. My god. Sion truly is the master of cheese though, because as you just saw, his passive has some pretty good uses when it comes to this stuff. Notably, ruining the life of the enemy jungler. Trying to take jungle camps without a jungle item is really hard. You're almost always going to die if you try to take more than just one. But that doesn't matter to Sion now, does it? Sion can just die to the buff and then use his passive to finish off the camps. The best part about this is that in modern day League, you keep red buff and blue buff when you die. So not only do you ruin the enemy jungler's game by taking a couple of their camps, but you also get to keep whatever buff you just stole for your laning phase. How awesome is that? Next up, let's talk about soloing Baron on spawn, and this one has some nuance to it. When Baron attacks a champion, it applies a debuff to that champion that reduces the damage they deal to it by 50%, making it almost impossible to solo Baron by yourself because you lose half of your lifesteal if you only deal half damage. But any champion that can summon a pet can solo Baron pretty easily, as if your pet tanks the Baron for you, you won't actually get that debuff that reduces the damage you deal to it. This can obviously be done best with Yorick, who can use his maiden to tank, but my favourite is Zyra. Just hang out at the Baron pit before it spawns, letting your seeds spawn all over the place, and when Baron's up, you spawn all of your plants. Just be sure to use your ult on your plants just before they die in order to refresh the duration of their limited life, and doing so, you can take down League's toughest raid boss in just a couple of seconds, all by yourself. Those were just a couple of my favourite modern day cheeses. I'm thinking of making a part 2 of this video, so if you can think of anything that might fit into a video like this, go ahead and leave a comment below and I just might feature it in the next one. But as always guys, have a great day.